I've never seen in my life a football program completely fall off a cliff to this extent. I mean, it is humiliating. I think Clemson can beat FSU by 80. Other than maybe Charleston Southern, I don't think they win another game.
Yep.
I mean, this team is completely in every aspect of the game, whether it's special teams, defense, offense. They're pathetic, and the worst part of it all, Tom, is the other aspect, the coaching.
You want a couple particulars? Sure. I'll give you a few particulars. Shoestring tackles on a short touchdown. Incomprehensibly bad, but oh so predictable drop passes off of hands, off of chest plates that lead to turnovers. Critical special teams penalties. Kick returns out of the end zone for no rhyme or reason. Zone coverage was a bigger part of tonight's defensive game plan, so there were zone coverage busts. There were man coverage busts. Timeouts for no reason, getting the play in late, playing in the wrong gaps, low percentage third and short rollout pass against the flow of where the quarterback should be going. The worst fourth and goal call I've ever seen in my life, Gene.
Mm-hmm.
And then total capitulation, a broken team spirit, and a program that's ablaze. Folks, here's where we are.
Judas Priest Barber is one of those flaming bags again. Poop again.
It is poop again.
The wheels have definitely fallen off. And I said this a couple of weeks ago that we didn't have a farm system. And I said it just because that's how I felt. And then I started looking back. And, you know, people can't disagree with what I'm about to say. Willie Taggart was a better recruiter than Mike Norvell. You guys know this better than everybody. The fan base can only take but so much.
Yep.
And there's only but so much goodwill that you can get. And now if that starts running out, the seat is unbelievably hot.
This guy is calling a QB power run with Lurch. What are we doing, coach? What are we doing on a consistent basis? It is failing.
What do you say to the guys that are on our roster right now, our young freshmen that are our future? How do you convince them not to hit the portal? A couple of times during the call or during the show tonight, Gene has made reference to AD going to his office. What power does an AD really have anymore? With Mike Norvell's guaranteed contract with a blood-sucking agent who will slice his own mother's wrist for more money, apparently, what power does an AD really have?
But I want to say this. Norvell hasn't developed anybody. You have to get rid of everybody. You can't afford to get rid of Norvell because of the buyout, but you get rid of everybody except for him and Papuchas, and you go on from there.
Man, I got a shitload to say, pardon my language, because it's that kind of night. I've heard people talking about how Norvell has built this program up, and yes, we may indeed have had a national championship team last year that didn't get a chance to prove it on the field. But when I see Bama play for a national championship, Ohio State or Georgia play for a national championship, their following teams don't look like this. So did he build this team and program up, or did he prop this team and program up? I don't care how much they have invested in the NIL, because I know we got more NIL. I know we have a bigger budget than Georgia Tech, Boston College, Southern Miss, whoever else you want to lay out there. I don't care. If you invested it wrong, you got to cut ties, trim the fat, and go forward.
Away from the coaching aspect, the money aspect, which has been brought up, are we going to be at a point to where the money is going to be an issue? We have the stadium, we have the NIL, we have a lot of money going out. And are we going to be at a point where our money is going to cause a problem in terms of the future of the program?
I think that's one of the right questions to ask at this point. It's on fire right now. The organization, when you're talking about in the short term, like Gene, we discussed this with the roster, the youth movement, play for 2025, build for the future, get something out of this year so that you can be in a better position next year to win football games. That's all fair. But then you could go higher up and say, beyond that, what coaching changes do I need to make? Mike, give me your short list. If I'm part of the administration, give me your short list. Let's go start searching and hunting for this position coach or that coordinator or whatever. But then at the highest level, you're spread pretty thin financially right now. You're doing the stadium. You're doing the football-only facility. You just gave raises to these coaches. You're about to have to pay them off to leave, many of them to leave. And then also you've got to up your NIL fund or up your NIL game in order to win out some of these recruitments that are going to require an extra special snack in order for you to be able to close on signing day or close out of the portal. So you're getting hit from all sides here. Gene, I feel like they might have to run into the arms of private equity, which sucks, or they're going to have to put a pause on maybe the football-only facility project. That's a lot of money that they need in a short period of time.
Yeah, everything, if you're an accountant and you're talking about this, I mean, the expense column just keeps blowing up more and more and more, and you're looking at the other column going, where's it coming from? And this is, of all the times, this is when they're trying to boost up the ticket prices, the licensing fees, all these things for this new, massive Taj Mahal stadium they're building right now. But I mean, this timing couldn't be worse for this. Can you imagine going to someone right now and go, you want 6 tickets on the 50-yard line with your licensing fee? That's going to be a few $100,000 there, sir. Yeah. Like the product you're putting out there now, see ya. I mean, the problem is it's hurting both ends. It's adding to expenses and it's limiting your revenue on the other side. So I don't know. I know the private equity thing I think was brought up before, and it was very overblown. Everything I've talked to some people, it was they made a very just curious, like what would the rate be and that kind of stuff, and that's as far as it ever went. But I don't, worst case, break glass in case of emergency. Maybe you have to do something like that because Richard brings up a really good point. That makes me almost more nervous of what I'm seeing this season. Is I'm starting to worry about where the money's going to come from because you have so many more expenses. At some point, that bill's going to come due for the ACC too. You're not getting out of this thing without paying anything. I know people seem to think, ACC's going to pay more money with the new, proposal that's been thrown out there. I still have my doubts that any of that's going to happen. I think this is all posturing, going back and forth with this stuff. The problem is a lot of money's got to go out, and you couldn't suck at any worse time when it comes to financial, situation right now.
Spartan says he'll just go win the lottery and take care of it.
Thank you, Spartan.
Thank you very much, Ralph. I believe you would too. I believe if you won the lottery, you would fix this thing, or at least give them the resources to fix it, and then see if they actually do this time. Jacob says, if Norvell last contribution of the night, we got so many of them. Thank you to everybody. The repeat donators, C Black and Dylan and Buffalo Tom and everybody. We do appreciate you. If Norvell got fired, who do you think would take the job? Well, Gene, I'll bet you have all off season this year to figure that one out because there's a hot.
Well, let's take Kiffin so the Gators don't get him.
Well,
I know that would make our friend Aslan very happy. He's a big Kiffin guy.
Well, look, Lane will get you star power, but he'll also lose games he has no business losing on the regular. That's. But hey, it
would help. How would the recruiting class be? Like, I know we're all just hypothetical. Mike's not being fired after the season, but I mean, what would that be like for recruiting? People complain about recruiting. You get a hell of a class if he was in here.
You would do that much, and you wouldn't be 1-4. No. But the thing is, I think next year, Gene, leading into the season and that first month, everybody loves first impressions, when they're looking at, around the corner saying, ooh, who could be our next hire? They're doing that now for coordinators. All Florida State fans are looking at different coordinators around the country and saying, what's his contract situation like? Next year, it will be that way because you're going to have a bad season this year. You open with Alabama. Yikes. This is a total nightmare.